I'm good at speaking. I'm great at speaking. I love to talk. I'm great at talking. I love to speak. I love to talk. I love to speak. I love to talk. I'm great at talking. I'm great at talking. I love talking. I love talking. I'm great at talking. Hey, well, I've actually had a good day. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this right, this positive affirmation shit, but like I had a really good day. Well, I had one really good talk where I was in a meeting with three other people and I had to introduce myself, which historically has been interesting. And I did it and I was really good, kept it really short, really sweet. I just said what I had to say and that's it. You know, I said my name, said my job title, I said what job I do, and yeah, just said just it was good. It was really, really good. And I'm happy with it. And I'm trying to not be a perfectionist. Sure, maybe I could have added in some more pauses or whatever. But you know what? I fuck being a perfectionist. Perfectionism is whack, bruh. And that shit is just gonna stifle anxiety and stifle fear. You know, like it'll harbor fear and harbor anxiety being a perfectionist. What I did was great. I did a great talk. I did a great speech. I love talking. I love speaking. I'm good at talking. I'm good at speaking. I just I just loved it, man. It was great. Now, yes, I did have to prepare in advance, and yes, I did have to write down what I had to say. But ultimately, you know, that's just a little bit of a crutch for me. I know that Lee isn't a big fan of it, but it's it's doing what Lee is saying, and it's injecting good memories into my image bank and good memories of me talking, and that was great, and I loved it, man. It was fantastic. Um, Really, really good. I'm bad at first impressions normally, but that was good. That was great, and I'm very, very happy with myself that I did that. So I'm just trying to say, or just trying to say to myself that I did a really good job, and I'm great at talking, and I love speaking. But is that it? Because I'm not really feeling anything. But then again, I don't really feel anything. I'm very in my own head. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah. But hopefully one day I will fully have it soaked in, and it's just not something that I'm saying, but it's something that I'm feeling. But I do feel it, and let me inject that positive force. I feel it. 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 Okay, so we are going to pick up, pick off where we started. Let me just get the note page ready. So we left off on page 88 on the PDF, and on the book that is page 75. And the time now is, okay, let's do 4 minutes. Let's do 20 seconds. 18, 19, 20. Okay, cool. Section 3, mind training, neuroplasticity. Okay. The only thing that is real is the mind. Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Directly and indirectly, mind training and mind control, achieved through the principles of neuroplasticity is the bedrock of this book and my methods for beating stuttering and a surfeit of other mental and physical ailments, anger, anxiety, boredom, depression, insomnia, sloth, avarice, what the fuck is that? Avarice, extreme greed or wealth or material gain, headaches, skin rashes, and on and on. I have remade my life for the better many times over by adhering to the principles of mind training. So, direct and indirect mind training and mind control, achieved through the principles of neuroplasticity, is the bedrock of this book and my methods for beating stuttering and other mental and physical ailments. Okay. The preceding section emphasizes a pivotal, if maddening, fact that we stutter because our mind retain and advance memories and images of past stuttering, which in fact causes us to subconsciously choose to stutter. But it adds the fact that mind control offers a method of reversing our choice to stutter. But all of this was known to some and still begs the decisional question: how do we control our minds? Steps 5 and 6 in sections 8 and 9 provide methods to source materials to help accomplish this. And steps 2 to 4 will help you make steps 5 and 6 work. But first, it is important that you accept the logic behind those steps. So let's consider some medical data and logic on point. The psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, professor, and author Norman Doidge, in his 2007 book, The Brain That Changes Itself, aka The Brain, devotes much of his book to neuroplasticity and insists that we can control our minds. If there were ever any doubts that our thoughts shape our lives and even remake our bodies, the brain dispels the doubts, and and in so doing, enables us to live better lives. The brain recounts scientific proof of man's ability not only to control thoughts, but to change the brain even physically. As the New York Times said, the power of positive thinking finally gains scientific credibility and straddles the gap between science and self-help. The brain's now medically accepted plasticity, i.e., the ability to change itself, also known as neuroplasticity, or changing the neurons and cells that comprise the brain, shows that the brain can be rewired or taught to think and program the body's organs in new ways. And in doing so, affect and reshape our body's performance. Doge asserts that we can change the way our bodies function, even fixing some organic problems, which is more difficult than repairing purely mental ailments such as is stuttering. So the brain can changing shows that the brain can be rewired or taught to think and program the body's organs in new ways. Okay? Directly our thoughts blocking certain thoughts, inserting others, bossing our minds, as I put it, is much easier than causing organic changes to our body. Don't you enjoy being the boss of things? It's fun and it's such a special treat when used to harness something that is at once so mysterious, lu- lucracious, ludicrous, ludicrous, and life destroying as is stuttering. I have learnt two ways to accomplish this, which are detailed in sections 8 and 9, steps 5 and 6. They are grounded in practical ways for the average person to gain control of his mind and offer an exciting and vast new area of medicine that seems destined to revolutionize the way people think and direct their lives and mitigate or even cure some organic ailments. The mind's ability to control pain is gaining medical acceptance as well. In another 100 years, mind control seems destined to supplant many medicines. This book invites you to join this evolving neuroplastic mind training and mind control movement and get your feet wet by tackling mind control. That's MC, it's not Minecraft. Let me see. I just typed in Minecraft. Mind control. And learning to use it to stop your stuttering for openers. In the greater scheme of illnesses, from a medical viewpoint, stuttering is likely the easiest of all life destroying diseases to cure. It's, it's time that you joined me and used mind control to reduce your stuttering to a level that others can't detect it. According to the renowned late pathologist, Rhodes Scholar, and Harvard professor Stephen Jay Gould, author of the fascinating History of Evolution, Wonderful Life, tells us thinking can change the behavior of genes. Imagine that. One of his examples is that males who think more about sex grow heavier beards. Guys, now you know why your beard is so heavy. Thoughts rule all. Your task is to learn to take control of your mental steering wheel. Most of us just drift, like ships without navigators or rudders. Rudders? We allow the current to take us, our minds, wherever the drift then is, in the direction of some inane program on TV or ribald movie or feckless printed material, or we head where some misguided acquaintance suggests that we go, or we insert earphones and fill our brains with music, thus mitigating, postponing, or obliterating thought. Although I love music and once sung on all manner of stages in my youth, There is a time for all things under the sun, and when our lives are being literally ruined by 24-hour, minute by minute thoughts of stuttering, we don't have time to spare. We need to spend our spare moments working on mind control. Once we've shoved stuttering into the deepest recesses of our dimmest memories, and thus are no longer detectable stutterers, we can return to iTunes for our idle enjoyment. I did. Why do we abandon, forfeit control of, and even hide from our minds? We allow them to be filled with tripe, and we fail to provide guidance to the one thing that rules our lives and determines our health, our peace of mind, our karma, and our futures, our mind. Be bad for the mind. Not be filled with tripe. Okay. Do we abandon controls of our automobiles, our computers, our phones, our children, our pets? Then why do we abdicate responsibility for our thoughts? By default, we allow our minds to chart their own, of course, or worse, to be charted by hapless or errant third persons or chaotic events. How imprudent, reckless, and imbellic can we be? What can we expect when we forego mind control and predictability, fall into bad thoughts, bad habits, bad actions, and even into an endless, reversible, and even ludicrous habit of stuttering? Whenever shall we take responsibility for our minds, and hence our lives? Stuttering is a good reason to reverse this odious course of non-thinking, and to put our lives on a much better path. Dr. Doge's research goes much farther. His case histories of using the mind to cure physical infirmi- infirmities include stroke patients cured, a woman with half a brain that rewired itself to work as would a whole brain, IQs raised, learning disorders overcome, and aging brains rejuvenated. Compared to the above, stuttering is a mild problem. Shouldn't you and all of us be availing ourselves of the fruits of such medically proven cures? This new science, neuroplasticity, as medical doctors call it, or mind remapping, or mind control in more user friendly terms, maintains that the brain, like plastic, can change itself with exercise and understanding. The fact remains that according to Doge and his medical peers, as their documented case histories attest, our brains are like plastic, and you and I can control them and guide them where we wish to go. And we can certainly eradicate any baseless, self-manufactured fears, including those that causes us to choose to stutter. There are countless medical-related books that confirm our ability to control our minds and use them to change our performance in many ways. One recent example is The 4-Day Diet by Ian K. Smith. At 70 estimate at 70 ET sec, I don't know what that means. He says, visualize the thin you. And he cites a long list of athletes who have used visualization to become great champions. He quotes Jack Nicklaus from the latter's book, Golf My Way. I never hit a shot, not even in practice, without having a very sharp, in focused picture of it in my head. I see the ball where I want it to finish. I see the ball going there, its path, trajectory, shape, even its behavior in landing. The next scene shows me making the kind of swing that will turn the previous images into reality. Dr. Smith continues, visualization is commonly used in sports. It's the art of creating a mental model or image of an event or situation before it actually happens. It's not just seeing the image, but actually feeling the experience that makes the difference. Experts in the field of visualization believe that there is an actual physiological response with the body when someone correctly visualizes. Thoughts and images can establish neurological patterns, and these patterns can cause muscular reactions that lead to the desired response. Again, all emphasis in the quotes in this book are studied unless noted to the contrary. Dr. Smith concludes, I believe that visualization can be equally effective outside of the sports world. Seeing and feeling yourself already achieving your goal can make your brain believe that actually attaining that goal is possible. Vivid and detected and detailed visualization can create a powerful effect on the body. These were almost psychiatrist Dr. Calprio's exact words to me some 50 years ago. Yes, dear reader, Dr. Caprio admonished we can dictate our thoughts, and that includes you. No one said that it was easy, but on the scale of relativity, it's not that hard either. It simply takes a plan and effort, but you can do it. Yes, for a while it requires a 24/7, minute by minute battle until we replace the negative thoughts in our mind's memory and image bank with positive ones. Elizabeth Vermel wrote in Stuttering Therapy, Stuttering Foundation publication at page 72, courage and self-confidence cannot be taught, but have to be encouraged to develop by positive experiences. Creating positive experiences is the immediate goal of steps 1 to 4. Verbalizing and visualizing positive experiences will provide positive experiences and memories to help build our courage and self confidence to overcome stuttering. This doesn't have to be a painful process. I prefer to view it as a game, which is the way much of life can, and I submit should, be viewed. And who among us doesn't enjoy games? The degree of our vigilance to determine the level of our success on point, and it will control our happiness and even our stuttering. The monstrous problem that we have allowed our unguided minds to create. We may make lots of money or not, or become learnt or not, or become physical Adonises or not, but unless we take control of our minds, Most of the time, we will never control stuttering or achieve happiness over a prolonged period. Controlling stuttering paves the way to controlling our non speech related thoughts and thus ourselves, which leads us to much better lives. In stark contrast, consider Google's list of literally hundreds of famous persons who had everything but still committed suicide, including Cleopatra. I didn't know about that. Cleopatra. That's interesting. Copy that one and paste that shit, because I'm fucking interested in that Egyptian shit, you dig? Cleopatra, Mark Antony Brutus, Vincent van Gogh, Hemingway, Charles Boyer, George Sanders, Julie Garland. Julie Garland's dead? Wait, maybe I'm thinking about someone different. I'm thinking about, oh, really? Damn, that's kind of crazy. Oh, she was in debt around 4 million. Fuck. Which is equivalent to $33 million, 26 million pounds today. Fucking hell. That's nuts. Frank Sinatra paid for her funeral. Okay, I'm getting a little bit distracted here. Virginia Woolf, Capuchin, Marilyn Monroe. Really? I didn't know that. Why do you think she did it? True cause of death, overdose, barbiturates, probable suicide. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Freddie Prinze and our beloved comic Robin Williams. What about fucking Kurt Cobain, bro? Oh, there's some more. Countless other rich and famous have lived their lives in the most destructive ways imaginable and indirectly committed suicide via drugs, alcohol, and ludicrously dangerous pastimes. A few of these include Elvis Presley, River Phoenix, John Belushi, Whitney Houston, Jimi Hendrix, Anna Nicole Smith, Janis Joplin, Chris Farley. What about Kurt Cobain? Just skipped over him. Anyway, as the sage philosopher Voltaire so succinctly put it, most men lead lives of quiet depression, but there are those who live in the same circumstances, but much worse, who live joyous lives, as that is how they choose to perceive their lives. The bottom line is that neither money nor fame nor good looks will buy peace of mind, calm joy, or a relatively pain-free life. No psychiatrist, speech therapist, or clinic can wave a magic wand and do it for us either. To accomplish those feats, we need to take control of our minds, or as I prefer to couch it, we need to become the bosses of our minds. By mind control, sorry, by control or bosses, I'm not suggesting total domination, and I mean substantial control most of the time. All of us fall off our chosen wagons now and then, but the winners remount and keep going. Others are doing it. You can too. Remapping the brain, of course, can have negative effects as well, e.g., males who spend excessive time on porn websites become obsessed with bizarre sexual acts and alter their sexual tastes and become progressively more hardcore. To the extent that they cease this, they become less so. Like a drug, porn tends to demand increasingly extreme levels to sustain interest, making some impotent or sexually dysfunctional to normal sexual stimuli, which can lead to conduct which those not obsessed view as disgusting and dangerous. However, it is a medically proven fact that those who stop going to porn websites will eventually lose their interest in it, as the brain will unlearn as well as learn, which ties nicely back into the comparatively minor problem of stuttering. Through protracted non use, we can forget to stutter. The mind is in a fluid or ever changing state, just as is any garden. It demands constant, daily, vigilant oversight. You can choose to view this as work or as a fascinating challenge, or even as a game, as do I. Why not view your war with stuttering as a game? The game challenge is to keep feeding positive sustenance to our minds, to focus 100% on our message and not specific words, and do this non-stop. If you're not willing to change your ways and work hard on new solutions, you may just not want to cure your stuttering. After all, you and I did bring it on ourselves, and many of us reinforce it virtually minute by minute, however inadvertently. Let me copy that down. The game challenge is to keep feeding positive sustenance to our minds, to focus 100% on our message and not on specific words, and do this non stop. I like that. I really like that. I'm presuming sustenance means thoughts. The game challenge is to keep feeding positive sustenance to our mind, to focus 100% on our message and not on specific, specific, specific words, and do this non-stop. Interesting. Sustenance. I'm presuming that's just thoughts, right? Sustenance. Food and drink regarded to source of strength as a source of strength. The maintaining of someone or something in life or existence. Why did Cleopatra die? Cleopatra death. Died by suicide, likely from poison rather than snake. Why? Hmm. Why? Hmm. Octavian had invaded Egypt and defeated Antony and Cleopatra's forces. Antony committed suicide after his defeat, and Cleopatra likely followed suit shortly after to avoid the humiliation of being forced to march in a Roman triumph. Right, okay, some shit to do with the Romans. Anyway, um, cool. Okay, cool. As the mind is a garden, its soil will grow whatever we plant or permit in it. Idle winds, of course, blow many seeds into it, and many are destructive. We are the gardeners. We must pull the weeds, lest they take over. Again, I quote, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. We must overtly plan, monitor, and direct our thoughts. This can be nowhere more true than with the process of curing stuttering. a psychosomatic disease if there ever were one. As assorted brain related books agree, when we stop exercising, mapping, and remapping our mental skills, we don't just forget them, our brain map space for those skills is turned over to the skills that we practice. Brain's resources are allocated according to the hackneyed apothegm: use it or lose it. When a person is motivated to learn, the brain responds plastically to expedite the learning process. Our neglect of learning as we age leads the brain's plasticity, ability to learn new things, to atrophy and waste away like rooted plants. To keep the brain fit, as the conscious goes, and as the reader surely knows, we must learn new things: a language, a musical instrument, a career, doing puzzles, and anything that requires highly focused attention, i.e., cognitive training or remapping, that help the brain retain its skills and compensate for faded ones. In support, a group of seniors aged 60 to 80 did 1 hour a day, 5 days a week of such cognitive training for 1 year, and turned back their memory clocks by 25 to 35%, or from 10 to 25 years. Combating and overcoming stuttering can be cognitive training and remapping to expand and rejuvenate our brains as well. That's interesting. To keep the brain fit, you must learn new things: a language, a musical instrument, a career, doing puzzles, and anything that requires highly focused attention, e.g., cognitive training or remapping. Let me actually copy that. Just I'm not sure if it's relevant for the stuttering shit, but that shit's cool, man. Like I fuck with that. We must learn new things: a language, a musical instrument, a career, doing puzzles, and anything that requires highly focused attention, e.g., cognitive training or remapping. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay. And I agree. Similarly, many doctors agree that simply going barefoot allows your foot to retain the portion of the brain's map that deals with balance. Also, not looking down as you walk forces your sensory map to communicate with your feet. Hold on to the railings, but don't look down, and you'll keep your balance sharper. Wooden or metal crutches used under your arms, like canes and walkers and wheelchairs, hasten the decline of age. They train the brain and thus the body to rely on them and to need them. Resist such artificial support as long as possible. The crutches that I ask you to use to beat stuttering are mental, not physical, and are needed only temporarily. Now I use them to enliven my speech or to beat down a very rare stutter threat, as the auto stutter response was long ago erased. V.S. Ramachandran, a Hindu neurologist, a Hindu neurologist advises pain is the brain's option of an organism's health. Sorry, pain is the brain's opinion of an organism's health. Pain is an illusion. The mind is a virtual reality machine. In Dr. R's tests, having the mind visualize and feel no pain for 15 minutes a day, 3 times a day, dramatically reduced chronic pains. I have done and continue to do similar experiments with 10 to 20-minute treatments which I give myself before going to sleep and before arising in the morning and or when on stationary aerobic equipment and do bonus treatments during idle time. I describe these treatments in detail section 9. These treatments will push many incipient ailments a good 20 years away. It was learning to self cure stuttering that led me onto this rewarding path of thinking, literally converting my stuttering into a blessing. To achieve plastic change of our brains, to which Dr. Doge refers, we must devote our full attention to a subject. Education minimizes mental decline. Exercise and mental activity generate and sustain more brain cells and reduce the likelihood that we will contract Alzheimer's disease or even the much more common and alleged inevitable dementia. While Alzheimer's may or may not be preventable, it surely can be postponed and mitigated. Moreover, small, age-related memory loss is much more prevalent and is almost certainly reversible with the right mental exercises, e.g., new languages, new careers, exercise, highly focused, creative work, etc. Physical activity helps as well as it creates new neurons and gets oxygen to the brain. The point is that the mind can be molded or remapped, including its propensity to produce stuttering. Let me copy that as well. Education minimizes mental decline. No. We must devote our full attention to a subject. Education minimizes mental decline. Exercise and mental activity generate and sustain more brain cells and reduce the likelihood that we will contract Alzheimer's disease. Let me copy. We must. Yeah. Let me copy this one. We must devote our full attention to a subject. Education minimizes mental decline. Exercise and mental activity generate and sustain more brain cells. That's very interesting. In sum, Dr. Doge's principles of brain plasticity and remapping are: use it or lose it, keep training your brain to do what it has always done, and do new things. Think it as thinking makes it so. Visualize it to dramatically improve performance. Verbalize your thoughts to lead to action. Repeat and repeat and repeat to reinforce all of the above. All of this is prologue to my anti-stuttering self-treatment methods as described in sections 4 to 9 and in 8 and 9 in particular. Dr. Doge continues. Activity, mental and physical, slows decline on all fronts. We can change our brain's autonomy simply by using our imagination. The faster that you can imagine doing something, the faster you can do it. Imagining is visualizing, but you must imagine exactly what you wish to achieve. The irony is that you We naively allow our environment to allow and others to inject thoughts into our minds constantly, and these become our reality and who we become. Yet, the prospect of taking control of this process seems to shock us. Ridiculous. We must wake up. Injecting thoughts into your mind, just as you would inject a medicine into your body to cure a disease or insert seeds into your vegetable garden, you will shape your mind into the thought garden of your choice, growing positive thoughts and extinguishing negative thoughts every day, every hour, and even every minute. There is absolutely no excuse for not doing this. You simply need a plan, a program, a daily regiment, and the self discipline and determination to implement it. And I offer mine in sections 8 and 9. As Dr. Doge also observes, lab studies which clinically measure changes in brain cells, neurons, etc., by implanting electrodes in subjects' brains have proved this time and time again. Everything that we do and think shapes our Play Doh like minds. To use Doge's term, taking affirmative control of our thoughts then is the key. As the bard said, there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. The divine bard was right. Our perception is our reality. Think about that. You decide how to view everything, as good or bad or neutral. What if you choose to change your opinion? A bad day becomes good. A problem is seen and used as an opportunity. An insult becomes the genesis of improved conduct. Your stuttering is your opportunity to begin taking the steering wheel in your mind and start driving your mind, your body, and your life for self enhancement, maturation, growth, peace of mind, happiness, including, of course, a stuttering free life. Don't waste valuable time worrying about what others think of you or about your stuttering, and concentrate on improving your mind control and hence your stuttering and yourself. So your stuttering is your opportunity to begin taking the steering wheel in your hand and start driving in your. Okay, yeah, cool. Norman Vincent Peale, the much revered minister and author, in his must read classic, The Power of Positive Thinking, told us change your thoughts and you change your world. The power of positive thinking and the value of reinforcement via relaxed meditation, yoga, and or self-hypnosis can no longer be denied. There are many helpful books on the topic of mind control. Far too many to list, much less read. Doge's best-selling book is a capstone in this field. If you still don't believe that you can take control of your thoughts and mind and turn your life around in the process, read the books as listed in the bibliography. By Doge, Amen, Ryo, Brysenko, Packard, Peel, and Bettiger. Each contains references to many more corroborative, more more cooperative sources, and demonstrative life experiences. A self generative avalanche of positive thinking prevails because, as noted throughout this book, stuttering is not an organic problem caused by physical impairment, so it can, without doubt or credible disagreement, be reversed by the same mental processes that created it. Stuttering is the ideal physical problem to solve via mind control. As further proof, while some severe stutterers stutter over most words, most stutterers don't stutter over every word, nor even every sentence, and some stutterer and some stutter only in specific situations or when speaking to certain people. Stuttering is often desultory but chronic, but it seems to occur in the most embarrassing situations, and if not battled, it becomes progressively worse. Yet, if I or any stutterer can say even one word, we can say all words. If only we'll accept this irrefutable logic and patent truth and permit ourselves to speak fluently. It is as easy as that. But just knowing it doesn't help. We need to reconstruct our mind's memory and image bank and use the tools and crutches in this book to fill it with positive words and images until fluency becomes automatic. So we need to reconstruct our mind's memory and image bank and use the tools and crutches in this book to fill it with positive words and images until fluency becomes automatic. Okay. As I increasingly succeeded in using the techniques described in this book, I was retraining or remapping my brain into a non stuttering mode, and stuttering became more sporadic and hence less pernicious. Sometimes I still stuttered much, much more than at others. What? Sometimes I still stuttered much, much more than at others. Okay? The greater the pressure to speak, the more that I stuttered. Conversely, of course, the less pressure to speak, the more words that I could say without stuttering. At times, if I got off to a good start, I seemed to eliminate any evidence of the stuttering beast. My self cures progressively slowed, but they kept progressing. Continued progress required elimination of the appearance of a speech disability, one incident at a time. Oddly, as noted elsewhere, throughout my life I had been a singer. At age 12, I had been chosen as a soloist in a boys' choir. We gave performances live on local radio and for groups throughout the Washington, D.C. area. I continued to do that throughout my school years, winning amateur shows, yodeling, whistling, and singing, and then later singing in duets, trios, quar- quartets, performing at almost every every major social function at my college for 2 years. Singing singing a bit in a bar in the summer, soloing or soling in church, etc., all through my stuttering years, and never once did I stutter while singing or performing. Why? When performing, my mind seemed to accept me as someone else, a normal, fluent, and better person. How self how self-deprecating is that? I had to mentally become someone else to avoid stuttering. The sheer pleasure of singing obliterated any fear of stuttering. When singing, honestly, stuttering never entered my mind. This is common among stutterers. There have been many stutterers who sang and sing beautifully without any trace of their habitual stuttering. Many stutterers can avoid stuttering by speaking in an accent, but don't wish to appear affected. Singing and speaking in accents without stuttering are further proof of the mental, non-physical nature of stuttering and reveals how close many stutterers are to curing their problem. If they can sing without stuttering, they can speak without stuttering. When stutterers are engaged in an activity in which they can lose themselves, such as singing, giving an emergency announcement, or a sermon, stuttering is generally not a problem. This fact makes no sense, but it is true. Its truth makes stuttering all the more ludicrous. It is as if we stutter because subconsciously we are not only because we not only choose to stutter, we want to stutter. Of course, this is not so, but regardless, it illustrates the need for a well designed plan, a method, a daily regime to help us kick the stuttering habit into the dustbins of history where it belongs. In my 20s, when I had my most severe battles with stuttering, I learned of an evangelical minister who was revered by many. When at the podium, he gave flawless, passionate sermons on radio, TV, and everywhere else. But when he stepped away from the podium, he was a chronic stutterer who could barely say his own name. This was a well known fact, but no one cared, as his sermons were so inspirational. Why? How could someone give world class sermons but be incapable of engaging in routine conversation without feckless stutter? It isn't God's sentence. The stutterer sentences himself. The recurrent, co-founding question is why. Once someone begins to stutter, the fear of it perpetuates it. As goes the adage, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. No one proves this more convincingly than does a stutterer. So I had learned three things. The cause of stuttering is 100% mental, confirming what I had always thought. Fear of stuttering is the thought process that perpetuates it. And fear is created by our mind's memory and image bank, which is overloaded with excruciatingly painful memories and images of stuttering. We can train, control, and remap our minds to think whatever we choose. This is the view of innumerable psychiatrists, neurologists, and other students of the mind, and at minimum, as to stuttering, I later proved it. Unfortunately, the stuttering world and its therapies have not yet come to grips with this common sense and now medically supported reality. I needed to find the shortest path to gaining control of my mind. I accomplished the above via a series of 6 steps detailed in sections 4 through 9. This book isn't about talk, it's about action. The actions that you are going to take and keep taking as long as you are detectable as a stutterer. It's time to set forth step 1 of my 6 step self cure. Okay, what's the time? It's just gone over an hour. This is section B. The 6 step self cure overview of a self cure. Right, I think I've done pretty good there. How long have I been speaking for? I've been speaking for it's just under an hour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. I'm going to probably have a drink and consider if I want to return back to this or if I want to leave it at this point and then pick it up tomorrow. I think I'm doing great with my reading speech, by the way, and my reading voice. And I would love to continue, but I do have other things to do today. But yeah, let me just pause it 1 second. Okay, I'm back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read section B because section B is actually pretty short. And then I'm going to stop when it goes into section 4, which is step 1 of Lee's plans and shit. So cool, let's do section B. Okay, the 6 step self cure overview of a self cure. Okay, it takes 2 things to stop stuttering. We must hear fluency to the maximum. We must not hear disfluency. Let me copy that because I fully agree with that. We must hear fluency to the maximum. We must not hear disfluency. This begs the question, of course, how can this be achieved? Our solution to this conundrum is what I call our 3-legged stool, aka 1, 2, 3 punch. Leg 1 is to read out loud and talk where fluent, and listen to recordings of ourselves doing so as many hours per day as is possible. Leg 2 is retrain the mind via daily auto-suggestions and or self-hypnosis treatments. Leg 3 offers a series of tools or techniques which we call crutches to help the person who stutters reduce stutter, blocks, undue silences to 0 as fast as possible, and post cure will improve speech in general. Let me copy that. So that is really good. So leg 1 is to read aloud and talk where fluent and listen to recordings of ourselves doing so as many hours per day as possible. Leg 2 is retrain the mind via daily auto-suggestions and or self-hypnosis treatments. Leg 3 offers a series of tools or techniques which we call crutches. To accomplish all of the above, we use a method that is divisible into 6 steps. The 6 steps of the self cure are presented herein in the order in which they should be easiest to learn. In sum, the methods described herein suggest that we use the following. So let me copy that as well. This is the 6 steps of the self cure. Methods to replace stutter memories with fluent. Oh, I don't think I need to copy this. Oh, yeah, I guess maybe. Actually, yeah. I guess I'll just read it first. Methods to replace stutter memories with fluency memories. Methods to minimize and soon eliminate creation of new damaging stutter memories 24/7. Methods to remap the brain to create automatic and habitual positive responses to speaking situations, and as a bonus, to program your mind for a better life. In this process, you will accomplish a great deal more than defeating your speech anxieties. You will learn ways to tackle and arrest anxiety in general, anger, boredom, depression, insomnia, sloth, greed, impatience, and unkindness, and many other mental ills in all their oppressive and subtle forms. The rest of this book will amplify the foregoing overview and set forth a game plan to make the foregoing your reality. Let's do okay, and then it goes into section 4. So it says here in some the methods herein suggest we use the following. So methods to replace stutter memories with fluency memories. I get it. Methods to minimize and eliminate creation of new damaging stuttering memories. Methods to remap the brain to create automatic and habitual positive responses. Methods to remap the brain to create automatic positive responses to speaking situations. And as a bonus, to program your mind for better. Methods to minimize creation of new damaging memories. Methods to replace stuttering memories. Methods to replace stuttering memories, fluency memories. Methods to minimize creation of new stuttering memories. Methods to remap the brain to create automatic positive responses to speaking situations. In this process, you'll accomplish great deal more than. Okay, cool. I get that. Okay, cool. I'm actually glad that I did that. So let me just save right here. This is good. This is really good. Okay, cool. So I'm on page 107 in on the PDF, and in the book I'm on page 94. And the time is now 1 hour 8 minutes. Another fairly shorter episode, and 53 seconds that was. Okay, that was actually really good. I feel like this has been another great session. Slightly shorter than the other sessions, but I did start a little bit later. And to be honest, I think it's worth me creating another podcast in the near future, relearning how to live, where I talk about wanting to connect with people. So I've loved reading and speaking out loud for about an hour. Let me just say that. I love speaking. I love reading. I love talking. I can articulate myself really well. I can express myself really well. I can communicate really well. I have great self confidence when I speak. I have great confidence when I speak. I love to speak. shit like that. You dig? All right, I'm about to. I'm gonna plug this bit. All right, laters, and as always, good night.